Hey guys, just wanted to do my reaction video to 5 episode 6, and it would be fun and games, this is reason, even though it was the week of Christmas, even though it shouldn't have been affected by it, but in any case, it was a character-focused episode in which Fitz was in present day. They show what happened to him when the rest of the team was sent to the future. He was captured by the military, was able to send a message to Lance Hunter to get him out of military custody, and it was through the alien that kidnapped the team that he learned that they were sent to the year 2091. And it wasn't until the wife and daughter of Charlie Hinton, who was an inhuman who could see the future, that his daughter could also see the future, but he also could see signs of the team being in danger while in the late 21st century, to the point where Fist decided, because he had no means of going through the monolith, that he had I don't remember the alien's name. It was like Krynock or something. Like he decided to cryogenically freeze himself for like 70-something years in order to show up in the future and be able to help the team and get them out of the situation, fight the Kree Empire, all that jazz, and how he ended up disguising, creating his cover as a bounty hunter. And by the time we saw him at the end of episode 4 of season 5, so I guess this is going to be show what he's going to be doing and how he's going to be interacting with the team and what he's going to be doing to help get the team out of the current situation.
Hey, Gretch! Got your tin right here.
I'll give you a token.
A token? I was hoping for at least 3.
A token's all I can spare.
Only for my favorite customer. Hey, Citrus! Look, I don't have enough today, but maybe tomorrow you can...
Sorry, Junior. No gimmies today.
Look, I don't need charity, all right? Only your best offer.
So he's basically like their version of Rey from Star Wars sequel trilogy.
We've been looking for you.
Science is breeding in humans to sell.
Fits, but instead, Bosch Talk, a vile space marauder of unlimited wealth.
Was the brooch really necessary?
Indeed, that medal signifies the number of enemy lives you've taken.
Just seems a little odd wearing a medal with little rhinestones on it.
That is quite amusing. You no doubt realize those are Genku larvae.
Okay, you know what? Let's drop the charade, find the others, and we'll shoot our way out.
The chances of survival would be less than 2% for each individual. That is Gemma Simmons. Would you like me to broker an introduction?
Why would I need you to introduce me to Gemma Simmons?
That's the
Marauder protocol.
It's the girlfriend.
Marauder.
6 months locked up in an off-the-books military prison, not to mention 80 years frozen in space, all just hoping to find you. Here you are. You know, I realized something. The universe can't stop us. Because we have crossed galaxies, we have traveled through time, we have survived the bomb of the Atlantic just so we could be together. Now, a love like that is stronger than any curse. And you and I, we are unstoppable together. I don't want to live in another day without you. So, Gemma Simmons, will you marry me? I know I said play it cool, but I didn't mean play it this cool. Gemma.
Is there a problem?
I asked your servant a question which she ignored.
My apologies. My servitors are only allowed to hear the voice of their master.
Oh, are they? Well, why don't you tell me how your guest needs are met when your slaves can't hear them?
There.
Thank you.
This one is quite exemplary. In fact, she also traveled through time with the Destroyer of Worlds, which probably explains her flawless complexion.
She for sale?
Not independently. She comes as a companion, for she is quite adept at motivating the Destroyer.
Okay then.
What is it?
Oh, come on. I want 24. He's got super speed. He's got super speed.
Melinda May, agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
You're cheating.
And you're dying.
How many traveled in time with the Destroyer?
My servant and Melinda May are the only ones I've discovered. Though Sonara remains convinced there are more.
Mind Reader's a skilled fighter, speaks well of his training.
Ben is quite talented for an inhuman.
We have to work together.
What is with you guys and teamwork? This fight needs to end now! Or else they'll feed us both to the roaches on the surface.
Is this really necessary? Like one of the boys discipline him.
You of all people must understand. No man of honor can allow the tongues of his slaves to lie so boldly.
I'm the one to blame, not Ben!
Perhaps, but he's far less valuable.
Don't blame yourself.
No! Ben! No!
Hopefully you found this display more to your liking.
You stop it, or I will stop you.
A good riddance.
Kids should be playing ball or running for student council.
World-class treasurer.
That's pretty specific.
I've served 3 terms. I'm a pretty financially responsible dude.
Tess. They killed her because she wouldn't give up Flint.
She's already dead.
Okay. So that was a pretty awesome episode. It was nice to see Fitz get back in get more involved in this whole thing. Like, I feel like the plot thickened when he was more involved. I just felt like, I don't know what it was. It just seemed like all the stuff with him and it was really sweet that, given that all this have been through, having to fight to be together and irony when it's unaware of of how I guess Cassius was like using that device to like control her hearing, and it wasn't until he had to say, it wasn't until that whole conversation where he had to say something to turn it off that Gemma even noticed that Fitz was there, and he just thought like, oh, she's just playing along, like don't look at me, don't try to draw too much attention to yourself, and but yeah, I feel like this is kind of a long time coming, and it's not like a ship that's taking up too much of the show, or he feels like there's too much focus on to the point where it's like it might turn some people off, like say, certain shows on like Supergirl or Arrow on CW where they get overzealous with, where they feel like they get overzealous with it. It was like a long time coming. I didn't expect it, but it was still very sweet, and especially towards the end where it was pretty cool where Fitz was able to, during that fight between Sonara and Daisy, was able to jump over the balcony and start using his icer on people and knocking and just basically just knocking people out, like this, like the senator, or like any like human aliens who were showing up, like I think it was like Senator Panarian and Lady Caraba were amongst the people there, and like I said, Fitz has had experiences like using just being a monster or just being a ruthless kind of supervillain when he was in the framework and working for that alternate reality version of Hydra, so he was able to use that to keep up appearances in that whole dinner, and win over Cassius' approval when you find out that Cassius was in exile and the unfavorite in the Kree Empire, or like his dad, who was like a major leader in the Kree Empire, and Fitz was able to use that whole, trying to win his father's approval to also get on his good side. Also very smart. And it was kind of cool to see I think Paul Farnock or something, like his older brother show up, Cassius' brother show up. I was kind of wondering if maybe he would just be I don't know why. Well, for some reason I thought maybe he would be a villain that we saw earlier, or maybe had like a small cameo in previous seasons of Agents of Shield, or it would be cool if maybe it was like Kree we saw in like an early version of Agents of Shield for some reason, or just some, I don't know, but it's like it was just somebody who was just like he's in like thicker blue makeup that we just didn't recognize. Um, but in any case, it was interesting it gave like a little bit of layers to add their take a size to being more than just a smug narcissist, but it also came to the point where it's just like, but also you gave him maybe some ideas on maybe why he's such a smug narcissist. He's kind of like this love-starved son in the Kree Empire, and being exiled to what's left of Earth to look after what's left of humanity, just as it's not something that would have been it would not have been his first choice, but it ended up just what's happening to him, and he's doing some weapons trade and enslaving humanity there as a way to getting back in his father's good graces. But also, it was obvious that, May obviously lost her fight to Sonara a few episodes ago, and she was forced into a battle with Ben, but because being he's a telepath and his inhibitor was turned off, it was kind of a losing battle for her, and she was exiled to the surface, in which she was going to be victim to the roaches, but luckily Enoch was going to be there, and he found some time to throw on some Kree paint and go to the surface and try to rescue her. And it's kind of cool that he's like an ally as opposed to some kind of this like antagonist who's going to stand in the way of Team Coulson trying to save humanity and maybe just try to get back to their own period. And also just kind of, I think it's just pretty awesome that I don't know. I'm just like, I mean, you see him like get all these weapons, like Daisy's Gauntlet and Mac's shotgun axe before he cryogenically froze himself to get to the future. I'm kind of waiting for all those guys to get all their weapons back and go in guns a blazing and try to take these guys out, because it was nice to see that at the end of the episode where it's like Fitz started using his Icer to knock people out, and of course, it was naturally they used that force field between Daisy and Sonara, and Fall Knock, forcing Sonara to fight against an Inhuman, because you feel like, oh, there'd be more worthy opponents, as opposed to just keep constantly using Inhumans to fight, and also just as a way to try apparently just stick it to Cassius. And it's also cool that that Simmons has tried to slit Cassius' throat just for all the crap that he's put her through and just the whole colony through, and they're trying to get but I first sort of thought of like, oh, they're really dead, but then you saw for a second that he got up and that was non-fatal, so I guess a healing factor that I guess I didn't realize that the Kree had. But I was surprised by how many characters were like killed off in like one episode. Like Ben getting killed off because of the fact that by May's existence, he kind of tipped off that there were more people who came through the monolith. Cassius, there were more people who came through the monolith besides Daisy and Simmons, so he got killed. I was not expecting Tess to get killed in the slightest, and I was really sad about that, because, Grill I wasn't expecting to get killed at all, but is not somebody I really cared about, because the guy was like such a scumbag that he basically had it coming. Flint I was not expecting to have a huge role, let alone become an Inhuman, and at first when you look, that's why I had to replay that scene. I was just kind of like, did he develop the same powers as Yo-Yo? And I figured it was nice to get some, like, finally get some backstory about Elena when she went through Terrigenesis, and Matt making that joke about how they didn't have know of or had tacos in the future, about how she was trying to, like, get a I guess, like, get a beer, then get a bottle opener, and then she was, like, back in an instance, and accidentally outed herself as an inhuman to Grill, and it only took Flint using his powers of controlling dirt, I guess, like, telekinetically controlling, like, dirt and rocks, to kill Grill to save themselves. And the Kree apparently, and I guess the Kree were going so far as to kill Tess, just to try to lure Flint down, since they know he was the person who went through Terrigenesis. And I kind of wanted her to stick around, just because, like, that just means I have to deal with more of Deke, who's just a scumbag, and so I'm completely unsympathetic that I don't want to deal with him. But the thing is, like, killing him off, it's like, I know they wasn't going to have any dramatic kind of punch. Killing off people like Ben and Tess were going to do that. But at least with the turning off that implant in Simmons' ears, that they were finally able to have that Fitz and Simmons were officially able to have the proposal and that kiss, and maybe they'll get off the ground and say, like, I don't know how long this show's gonna go on for, if it made for another season or two. Probably like a serious finale thing, if anything like that. I mean, there wasn't much going on with, like, Coulson and Mac and Elena besides that whole stuff with Grill and Flint. Again, I didn't realize it was going to have a huge part in this episode of the whole series. I don't know what role he's going to play in this at this point, other than it seems like the ending kind of foreshadowed this is going to be the start of, like, a whole rebellion of the whole lighthouse against the Kree. Now that Cassius is, losing his influence, his brother is, like, just kind of pushing him around. Sonara got beaten by Daisy, even though Cassius' brother turned off her inhibitor just before she could use her powers to attack them and the spectators. And I just figured, I don't know, I'm just looking forward to more of, like, more stuff from the next episode. Like I said, like, it just became, like, I don't know what it is. Like, I just miss, and you can tell, like, Fitz's presence was, like, very much missed in this episode, and it just feels like the plot's finally moving forward, and there's that having going to go save May, and it's interesting to see, like, how things are going to play out. Is he going to come back into the picture? They're going to come into contact with his father, who was supposedly on the surface, and the one who was, like, trying to reach out to Virgil. I mean, or, like, they're going to be, or Falnock and Cassius going to bring more reinforcements from the Kree Empire, and try to destroy the colonies because of the Team Coulson. I mean, it depends on how things all play out, and like I said, I don't know how long they're gonna, be in the future for, during this whole whether it's the whole season or part of the season. Who knows? I'm enjoying it so far, and like I said, the plot thickens and has been getting better overall so far. But what do you guys think of the episode? What are your predictions for next week? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe.